الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه وصلوات الله وسلامه على نبينا الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As was mentioned in the Khutbatul Jum'ah today, we wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the incident that has happened recently with the death of the Sheikh Rabee al-Madkhali, rahimahullahu ta'ala rahmatin wasi'a wa ghafarallahu lana wa lahu. Concerning this issue, like any other issue, anytime a scholar of Al-Islam passes away, then it is a serious issue. And that's why you find around the globe, if a scholar passes away, people are going to acknowledge that because it's a sign. It's a sign. The scholar is not like the regular person. As Allah asks the rhetorical question, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِ الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ? Are they equal, those who know and those who don't know? The scholars are not like the ignorant people. And right now, one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah is that ignorance is flourishing. There's a lot of ignorance about basic things about the deen and confusion. So every time that something happens like Ashura, any and every time something happens, and with the usage of the internet, it becomes even more because every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd has something to say. And he is majhul, you don't even know who he is. Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it a shaitan? Is it a jinn? Is it a kafir? Is it a Zionist? You don't even know. So we have to first and foremost acknowledge and recognize the position of ulama in al-Islam and knowledge in al-Islam. So we can give all of those adillah about the virtues of the scholars. That's not the time for that. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is for a very important reason. Our mother Aisha, in what Imam Muslim brought in the introduction of his Sahih, rahmatullah alayhi, رضي الله عنها, she mentioned in that athar, أمرنا أن ننزل الناس منازلهم. We've been commanded, put people in their proper places. The mother, the father, they have a special place. The people have special places. So the scholar has a special place. And this is something that's very disturbing about what we see today with the internet and with the community. There's tremendous hadith that people will just be talking because they don't like or they didn't like Sheikh Rabee and what he represented to them. They just say anything that comes to their mind. But in our deen, the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, من لم يرحم صغيرنا ولم يوقر كبيرنا ليس منا من لم يرحم صغيرنا ولم يوقر كبيرنا ولا يعلم لعالمنا حقه. He is not from the true Muslims, not from the real Muslims. Your Islam is something else. In this aspect of Islam, something's wrong with you. The one who doesn't have rahmah for these little children who are in the masjid and they're in our homes. We have to have rahmah. When they're in the masjid, they have to have adab. The fathers have to teach them how to behave. But we don't put in the masajid of the Muslims these signs, keep the majaneen and the children from the masjid. We don't do that. We have to have rahmah for our babies. We have to have respect for the elders. And the last part of the hadith said, he is not from us the one who doesn't know the haqq of the scholar. And from the haqq of the scholar is that you don't talk bad about him, even if you don't agree with him. This is something that Allah has made a part of our religion. So there are scholars and ulama in al-Islam who, like everybody else, they get it right, they get it wrong. We shouldn't have anything in our heart, even if a scholar were to do something. This is a serious issue. So moving on, Ikhwani, before we go to the second point, one of the great muhaddithin of al-Islam is a man by the name of Abu Qasim ibn Asakir. He wrote a book called The History of Damascus, Tarikh Damashq, who came into that city, who was born there, and so forth. So he wrote about all of those ulama. He was giving some advice to some of the students about this issue. And he told them, you should know that the blood or the meat, the luhum of the scholar is masmuma. Ghiba, kadhib, al-iftira, al-shatam, al-sab, talking bad about the regular Muslim is a problem. It's a problem. أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ اللَّحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. You're just a regular Muslim. So if a person says to his mother, his father, oof, these kind of things, it's a bad thing. But to the scholar, because of his position, the Muslim has to have a level of wara. Hey, take it easy. I don't agree with that scholar, but I know there's a had that I can't go beyond. There's an edit that I can't, separate for myself. You can't have hatred in your heart towards the ulama of Islam. So sometimes we find brothers wrongly doing this. Brothers who make it intima to a salafiyah. We find that the great scholar of Islam, the Imam al-Kabir, I won't say the Imam al-Akbar, but the Imam al-Kabir, Abu Hanifa, rahmatullah alayhi. Al-Imam Abu Hanifa is an Imam in al-Islam, but he did this, he did that. You'll find some people talking about him in a way as if Al-Imam Abu Hanifa is a bum on the corner down in somewhere in Orlando because he made this mistake or that mistake. No, he's a scholar. And because he's a scholar, rahmatullahi alayhi, we always have to remember that the scholar, if he makes ijtihad, if he gets it right, that's a reward. If he gets it wrong, that's still, he gets 2 rewards for getting it right, 1 reward for getting it wrong. Because they're not like everybody else. Does that mean that the scholar can say and do anything, or that there's no fitna that comes from a scholar? That doesn't mean that. Not at all. Does a scholar get 1 reward for any and everything? No, not at all. Doesn't mean that. And that's why with the scholar having his position, when a scholar makes a mistake, and a scholar has something with him that's a problem, it becomes bigger than what it is with the regular people. So we want to move on, Ikhwani, to this very important issue. And that issue is those scholars who we love and we honor and respect them, the contemporary scholars who lived during our time, we know them. And there are many. They're the ones who say that a Sheikh Rabee is a scholar. Not any and every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd from the street who doesn't know his religion. No, scholars said that he was a scholar. So if you get someone on the internet and you don't even know who he is, and he says he's not a scholar, we say, "Man anta la umma laka." Who are you to be making that statement? Who are you? You're not in a position. What we do is what Allah commanded us to do, because we're regular people. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know if you don't know. So those scholars that we honor, we respect, like a Sheikh Al-Albani, he not many times explained, in his opinion, the position of Sheikh Rabee without going any mujawaza, without going any tafrit, any ifrat, just right in the middle. He said he was a scholar. Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen said he was a scholar. Those are just a few from the ones who have passed. From those who are living, and I'm talking about people for the most part, whether you're Salafi or not, people respect these people. Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad, he said he's a scholar. And he didn't agree with some of the things that Sheikh Rabee was doing in his book. He wrote Rifqan As-Sunnah bi As-Sunnah, in which it was a rad. Don't deal with the people like this. And he mentioned Sheikh Rabee's name in there. And he spoke many times and said he's a scholar. So if those scholars say that this person is a scholar, who are you that you say he's not a scholar? And that's just a few. This is a really important point. A Muslim is not to be liberal like that in his religion. Says whatever he wants to say, feels whatever he wants to feel, if he doesn't have ulama in front of him. And that's what Imam Ahmed used to advise the people, rahmatullahi alayhi. He used to tell the people, he would tell his son, and other than him, iyaka, he would tell his son, and tadhhab madhhaban laysa laka fihi imam. Don't you take a position, you don't have those scholars in front of you. Something's wrong with you if you do that. So moving on, past that, inshallah, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, one of those tremendous companions, he mentioned that the people will always be in a good condition. Our community, Muslims will be in a good condition as long as the knowledge that they took, it comes from their elders, and it came from their umana, and it came from their ulama, as long as knowledge comes from them. He said, but when the people start taking knowledge from the, young people, the saghar, and when knowledge starts coming from the evil people, people are going to be destroyed. So all of that I'm saying to say what? We have to look at what the ulama say, and don't look at what the regular people are saying. The regular people. And in this country, where we're English-speaking people, many of us are reverts, also people who are not Arabs. Many people right now in this time, especially in this country, in the West, in America, we live in a place where knowledge is not prevalent. It's not prevalent. It's the opposite is the case. And when I say scholars, I'm not talking about people just from one country, whether it's Saudi Arabia or other than that. I always say that. There are people who are from Morocco who are scholars. People who are from India who are scholars. People from Iraq, Egypt, they are scholars. The scholars are not just in Saudi Arabia. And I categorically reject this thing that people are pushing on us, that the only ulama is Saudi Arabia. This is not our religion. But we're going to come to that, inshallah ta'ala. Now, concerning the Sheikh Rabee, there is something in Al-Islam, and that is what is known as the hurma. The hurma come from the word haram. The Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, kasru, adam al-mate, breaking the bone of the one who is dead while he's dead. You break his bone. You break his bone and he's dead. It's like breaking his bone when he's alive, because that dead person has sanctity. You can't desecrate you can't mutilate him. He has a hurma, like in your house. Someone comes and knocks on your door, he shouldn't open up the door. He shouldn't look through the mirror, because inside of your house are your women, your harim. They're in that. So there's a hurma. Dead people have this, especially the dead people from the Muslims. And this is something that really freaks me out about this internet and the culture of the people. The hadith said, لا تسبوا الأموات فإنهم قد أفضوا إلى ما قدموا. Do not curse, do not abuse those people who are dead, because now that they're dead, they went to get the reward of what they did. So the person is dead. Now he's going to be judged by Allah Azza wa Jalla. You don't like him. What is your statement about him going to help the situation? Especially if you're a person who's emotional and you're saying bad things about that person because you don't like him for whatever reason, but you're going overboard. And what you're saying is not even true, as you're going to see. It's not even true. You have nothing to do with it. That's what Allah told the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Laysa laka min al-amr. Laysa laka min al-amr shay. Aw yatuba alayhim aw yu'adhibuhum. You have nothing to do with it, Ya Muhammad, whether Allah is going to punish those people who die fighting against you, or if Allah is going to forgive them. That's the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not anything to do with you. So the person is dead. Just leave it. He's going to get, and they're going to get what their hands put forth. If they did good, they're going to get that from Allah with justice. If they did bad, have yaqeen, the ilm al-yaqeen. That person is going to get his reward. What is your statement helping? What is your statement helping? So I don't know how many text messages I got that were very negative from people who didn't like and they don't like some of the things that have happened over the years. And I understand that. And I appreciate that. And I see that. There's a lot of fitna and iftiraq and tafarruq has happened. Ikhtilaf has happened. It happened. But still, that's one issue. But cursing people and they're dead. So he's a scholar who's dead. Don't talk like that. Just hold your mouth. Hold your tongue. Hold your finger. Don't say anything. It's better for you. It is better for you. All right, now one of the ayahs I want to use today, Ikhwani, and the hadith, just to show the importance whenever a scholar dies, whoever that scholar is. He could be a scholar of fiqh, he could be a faqih, he could be a muhaddith, he could be a scholar of the Arabic language, he could be a scholar who's a hafidh and he's spreading the hifdh of the Quran and the qira'at. He could be whatever the scholar is. He's not like a regular person. So the scholars use this ayat of the Quran that Allah Ta'ala mentioned, أَفَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا نَأْتِي الْأَرْضِ نَنْقُصُهَا مِنْ أَطْرَافِهَا. Do they not see, Allah said, do they not see that we cause the earth to shrink from its angles? That ayat has ikhtilaf, different understandings. One of the understandings, like Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, gave it. Mujahid, his student, gave it. Obviously, he took from Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu. He said the meaning of that ayat is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala causes a scholar to die, the earth shrinks. The earth shrinks. That's the understanding of Abdullah ibn Abbas, that when the scholar dies from this ummah, when he dies, it's going to be a negative effect and impact on the ummah because there's less knowledge. Those ulama are the warathatul anbiya. So the scholar said the man is a scholar, rahmatullahi alayhi. Who are you to come and say no? And to be, no, you better know your position and take it easy when you talk about people, regular people, not to mention the scholar in al-Islam. The last hadith is the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam as it relates to Sheikh Rabee, rahmatullahi alayhi. وغفر الله لنا وله وأسكنه الله تعالى في الجنة الفردوس. The Prophet told us sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah will not snatch the knowledge out of the hearts of the people by just snatching the knowledge and it just disappears. He said Allah will snatch the knowledge of the people by causing the scholars to die. By causing the scholars to die. Now even if they're not dying, we still have this issue. إن من أشراط الساعة أن يلتمس العلم عند الأصاغر. From the signs that Yawm al-Qiyamah is close, people won't get knowledge from the ulama of Islam. They'll get knowledge from people who don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. The scholars, these scholars, people are teaching, and imams, they will go to the Yahud and they will sit with the Yahud in these circumstances and kiss their hands. You don't represent us with that behavior. You don't represent us with that behavior. No one's telling you to give a khutbah and to talk and to get in trouble. We're not telling you that. But don't do that. That's a slap in the face to our ummah at this time. You don't represent us. That incident is an incident of Yawm al-Qiyamah is close. That kind of action. So as it relates to the share, there are three groups of people in regards to Sheikh Rabee al-Madkhali, rahmatullah alayhi, and we have to be from that group that is balanced. There are two extreme groups. One extreme group are those people who hate him. They hate him with a passion, and they won't spare the opportunity to talk bad about him. They say that he's a munafiq. They say that he's a zindiq, a mulhid. They say that he is a kafir. They make takfir of him. I read where they said he was a Jew, a Zionist. You can't say that about the regular person. Now let's say that that's your position and that's what you think. All right, you don't agree with him, but why would you go that far? Now, if he was all of that, why would those other scholars say what they said about him? Because if they say that about a munafiq, about a kafir, then that's a big problem. So as a Muslim, you have to fall back and calm down. The ulama of al-Islam from different parts of the world recognize this man and acknowledge this man as a scholar from amongst the scholars. But you, the young person, the revert, you say he's a munafiq. You make takfir of him. Say he's a kafir. What does that say about those ulama who raised them up? What does that say? That says that those ulama, something's wrong with them. No. We say if you're going to make a tuhma, we're going to say, ittahimu anfusakum. You better blame yourself. Don't blame those scholars over there, because those scholars were fair and just about talking about a Sheikh Rabee with what he deserved, with knowledge. And it wasn't even about his person. It was about his statements and his positions and his actions. And this is what we have to learn to do. And we'll come to that, inshallah. So that's the growth. Now listen, because this is really crazy. This is a sign, the death of a Sheikh Rabee, rahmatullah alayh. He's not the first scholar to die, nor will he be the last. So we've had scholars that have been dying consistently. And when some of those scholars died, we saw some people being very disrespectful in what they were saying. Although the scholar, he disagrees with them, just keep your mouth shut. Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini, he died recently. Rahmatullah alayhi. He died. And they were those rough and tough Salafi people. Rough and tough. They used to say things like, mustarah minhu, like pray, they were happy. Sheikh dies, scholar dies, he dies. They make sajda to shukr. And say that the Salaf used to do this? Yes, the Salaf used to say and do things like that with the a'imma of kufr. Zandaqa. Don't take those words and put it on the brand spanking new brother. He's a new revert. We know, told you the other day in the class of the hadith, that anwata. Ya Rasulullah, make us a tree like they have a tree. The companion, Abu Waqid al-Laythi, radiyallahu anhu, he said, we were new to Islam when we said that. So you're going to take that ruling and put it on somebody who is a brand new Muslim. And the Salaf were talking about the imams of kufr and shirk who messed up the aqeedah of Islam. So look what happened. When a Sheikh Rabee died recently, people started saying that. Mustarah minhu. They talk bad about us. Don't talk like that. La tasubbu al-amwat. We shouldn't have a shamata for somebody who's a Muslim. Leave his situation with Allah. Allah is going to be fair and just. You're not going to be fair and just. And some people even make istidlal with the Quran. One person was saying that Allah said in the Quran, وَسَيِّئَةُ جَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. The reward for an evil deed is an evil deed back. And he was saying this is the dalil he's going to use to make these nasty, bad statements from the Quran against the man. Rahmatullah. Come on, what about the rest of the ayah? What about the rest of the ayah? You're going to just stop there? I understand you say that ayah. What about the rest of the ayah? فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. What about the one who makes al-afu and he pardons? What about that? The one who rectifies. Why are you just being on that? So just be careful. And as they say, what goes around comes around. That's the sunnah of Allah in the dunya. You do that to scholars that you don't agree with. Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini, Abdurrahman Abdul Khaliq, the man was giving a talk. And this is not defending anyone. This is saying you need to be careful. Because someone you love is going to die, and then people are going to come and curse him. So we shouldn't curse the aliha of the kuffar unless they curse Allah. Don't curse the aliha. Don't curse them, because when you curse them, they're going to curse Allah. Don't curse another man's father. You're going to make him curse your father. Don't curse another person's sheikh. You're going to curse your sheikh when his turn comes. And this is not from the adab of al-Islam. Al-mu'min laysa bit-ta'an wal-la'an. The Muslim shouldn't always be talking like that. That man is dead. he's going to get his jazat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the first group of people. Those people who they hate the sheikh to the degree that they can't see any khayr in him. And then the second group are the people who I call the ghulat. They go overboard. Two ta'ifatan. They have khata in the sheikh. Those people have ghulu. And those people over here, they also have shidd and ghulu. I heard with my own ears, I saw, reading it, I heard people saying Sheikh Rabee is the urwatul wuthqa. The urwatul wuthqa is kalimatul la ilaha illallah. What are you saying? But he said that. People said, if you go to Mecca and you don't visit Sheikh Rabee and you're from As-Sunnah and you don't have an udhr, like your family needs you or this, that, you don't go, then you are maghmoos, you're khasir, you're a loser. You have to go and visit him? That's the stuff that the people of Tasawwuf, they say, if you go to in Medina, the hadith is kadhib, makdhoob. Anybody who goes to Medina and he doesn't visit my grave, then he has had jatha with me. That hadith is not true. You can go and make umrah and never go to Medina. Your umrah counts, your hajj counts. So these people made it like an obligation to visit the sheikh. It's a problem. That's ghulu. That's too much. And we have a lot of those issues like that. A lot of issues. They raise Sheikh Rabee above the place he deserves. The other people put him down below the place that he doesn't deserve. You made the man a kafir. Brother, what's wrong? Just have insaf and al-adl. Have some control and discipline. Close your mouth. Just take it easy. Islam is easy. And then we have the third group. And the third group is just in the middle. Listen to this, ikhwani. You know, we want our ummah to be people who have al-ittiba', to follow the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and not to follow the awliya and people when they're wrong. If you want to do a madhab, do the madhab, no problem. The madhab is a systematic way for you to know how to get on the path. But when the madhab is wrong, leave it, leave it. I mentioned Al-Imam Abu Hanifa. The people are like Iyal on Abu Hanifa, the way he was. The scholar said Al-Imam Abu Hanifa is an imam. He's a faqih, the faqih of this ummah. And Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak and people like that really raised that man up. But there were some people of the Sunnah who talked bad about him, really bad about him. Rahmatullah alayhi wa ghafarallahu lil jami'. This is the point. You know, when you meet some of our Hanafi brothers in the dunya and they don't have any knowledge, if you tell them, and we're learning hadith, the scholars of al-Islam, most of them said that Al-Imam Abu Hanifa is weak in hadith. They wasn't saying that to make intiqam and get Al-Imam Abu Hanifa. They looked at his hadith and they said he was weak. That's what they said. Al-Imam Muslim, his Shaykh, Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, Al-Imam Al-Nasa'i. I'm not here to tell you all those people, but big scholars. So if you say, like I'm going to say right now, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa على الرأس والعين نتقرب إلى الله بحبه. But we don't put him in Jannah. We don't know he was in Jannah. And he had his issues from the Murji'atul Fuqaha. The scholar said, now the person looks at me as if I'm the one who said that. I'm not the one who said that. I told you those scholars who said that. So now when I mention a Sheikh Rabee al-Madkhali, the one who has ghulu, if you don't write a text message, a taghreed or something, praising him, if you disagree with him, you get thrown off of and out of the sunnah. I thank Allah for giving me the breath and the life and the ability for so many years to say, I'm against that stuff. I'm against that stuff. That's not the sunnah and that's not sadaqiyah. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So in concluding, I just want to mention these few things and I'm done. First thing is, personally, myself, I have respect for a Sheikh Rabee al-Madkhali. Been to his house many times, especially a long time ago, before all of this drama started and all of this ikhtilaf and all of this tafarruq and niza' happened. His son taught me in the faculty that I went to. It's a very nice man as well, Sheikh Muhammad. He's Abu Muhammad, Rabee ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, rahmatullah alayhi. So I have respect for him. But I say now, as I said before, ana mukhalif lahu. I have differences with him, and I don't agree with aspects of his minhaj in the later part of his life. I'm not on that. I disagree with this thing of putting Salafi people outside of the Sunnah without any hujjaj. Like Imam Ahmed used to say, إخراج الرجل من السنة شديد. It's a serious issue. It's like takfir. A takfir is the ghulat who always go overboard in that stuff. The khawarij and people like that. If you're going to put someone out of Islam or off of the Sunnah, there are conditions. You have those shurut, you have those mawani'. So I'm against that thing of even the one who said if you go to Mecca and you don't finish the sheikh, you don't visit him, you a loser. The person who made that big statement, he got thrown out of the Sunnah by the Sheikh Muhammad ibn Hadi al-Madkhali. He threw him out of the Sunnah, and he didn't throw him out of the Sunnah for going against the Asul of a Salafiyya, because I disagree with that. And I disagree with people who do that. I also have to say, I also have to say this as well, that from that minhaj is al-ilzam. If you don't agree with me, I'm going to give you the same ruling. If you don't agree with me about him, I'm going to give you the same. What is that? This is not Islam. This is not our religion. That's my boy. I can't tell my boy, I'm your dad. You better agree with everything that I say about Fulan and Fulan. And if you don't, I'm going to deal with you? No, can't do that. And Imam Ahmed didn't make ilzam of his children. He didn't, you better follow my opinion when I talk about rijal. When I take a position of fiqh. And Imam Abu Hanifa didn't tell those ulama of that he taught. Abu Yusuf, Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani, he didn't tell them, you better follow me. No, they went against him in a third of his madhab. A third of his madhab. They went against what he said. He didn't get upset with anybody. Al-Albani, Ibn Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen. These people don't make you follow what they say. So I'm against that. We see this coming from people, but we're going to say at the same time, may Allah have rahmah upon them, rahmatin wasi'ah, because there is no person who is ma'soom except the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's another statement of the ghulat, that he is ma'soom in the minhaj. Nobody is ma'soom except the Nabi of Islam. How can your mouth make those words? Someone is ma'soom. He's infallible. Don't make mistakes. You can make mistakes in fiqh, the Quran, but in the minhaj, that's kalam farigh. Kullu bani Adam khatta'un. Everybody. Wa khayru khatta'in at-tawwabun. Has to make tawbah. Everybody. So I ask Allah Azza wa Jal in our Masjid, the Sunnah, for people who have an i'tidal, and we want to be balanced. We don't want to be extreme in our religion and anything in the religion. Just balanced about people and balanced about what our religion is and what our religion isn't. So I have no qualms, no problem, no tahaffuf, no taraddud, none of that, of making dua for Sheikh Rabee and asking Allah Ta'ala to not give him any su'al, not give him any, go into Jannah without any question, go into Jannah without any adhab, and may Allah Ta'ala accept all of his efforts. All of his efforts. And only Allah knows what the man really put forth. Only Allah knows. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to look at a Sheikh Rabee as really being an imam of the Sunnah? Well, I don't agree with that laqab. I don't agree with it. But Allah judges how he wants to judge. I'm not going to talk bad about the man, and he's a Muslim. He's a scholar. So this is what we wanted to mention to you, brothers. And I give you advice over and over again. that internet and talking about people is a problem. That thing is a problem. You don't know who's typing. You don't know who's typing. So let's talk with knowledge and let's defend the truth. The Sunnah and spreading the Sunnah and the Salafiyah is the truth. But what is Salafiyah? Salafiyah is just the balanced Islam that those companions were upon. That's all. That's all. It's not being rough and tough and nasty and mean. It's not like that. And Allah is A'la and A'la. There was a brother who had told me after the Jummah, he came to me very lovingly and said, look, I'm not going to come to the class today because I may say something. And this, I said, listen, I have love for you. You're my brother. You have your right to your opinion. And I see you as a person who has some aql and discipline. But I'm not here to raise Sheikh Rabee up above what I believe is his station, nor am I here to put him below and to put him under my foot neither, because that would not be justice. That would be dhulm. Dhulm. Wad'u shay fi ghayri mahallihi al-munasib. He doesn't belong under my foot, but nor does he belong all the way up in the sky with the malaika and with the prophets, like some of the people who want to put their imams and Hassan Hussein up there. Like, no, we don't do that. That's not our religion. Okay, Ikhwani, if you brothers have any questions, inshallah, you can put your questions forward.